because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because of why.
Hey everyone, when I say Estonia, what pops into your head? For a lot of people, maybe not much. But you know, this tiny Baltic nation has one of the most incredible transformation stories of the last 30 years. So today, we're going to unpack exactly how it went from a former Soviet republic to a global economic powerhouse. It's a wild story. So that's the big question, right? How on earth did a tiny post-Soviet state become this global tech giant in one of the wealthiest countries in Europe? And let me tell you, this was not an accident. It's a story of some seriously bold decisions, super smart investments, and a crystal clear vision for the future. Let's break it down. Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle is how they started. Right after they got their independence back in '91, Estonia didn't just kind of dip its toes into a market economy. No way. They jumped in head first with this really radical strategy called shock therapy. Basically, they chose a lot of short-term pain for some massive long-term gain. So instead of a slow, gradual change, they just went for a total reset. They freed up prices almost overnight, which was a huge deal. They introduced their own currency, the krone, to get stable, and they quickly started selling off all those clunky, old state-owned companies. The thinking was pretty clear. If you want to build a new future, you've got to make a clean, decisive break from the past. No looking back. And this just shows their strategy perfectly in action. I mean, look at this. They pulled off this massive economic pivot. Before '91, almost all of their trade, over 90%, was tied to the Soviet Union. But within just a year or so, they had totally rewired their trade relationships. They turned decisively towards the West, especially their Nordic neighbors, like Finland and Sweden. A complete 180. But here's the thing. That radical economic change, that was only half the battle. You could argue that the real foundation for their long-term success was their investment in people. I mean, from day one, they decided they were going to build their nation on the bedrock of a world-class education system for everyone. And the results? Honestly, they're just staggering. You look at the PISA scores. These are the big international tests for math, science, and reading. And Estonian students don't just do well. They're #1, the best in Europe. They've even surpassed Finland, which for years was considered the gold standard. That's a huge deal. But the secret here isn't just about getting high scores, it's about the philosophy behind it. As this quote from the Ministry of Education shows, the whole idea is built on equality. The core belief is that every single kid, it doesn't matter what their background is or where they live, deserves the exact same top-tier education, no exceptions. And you know, this isn't just some nice idea they talk about. They've built an absolutely incredible support system to make it happen. The investment starts literally from birth, with super generous parental leave. It continues with affordable preschools for almost all kids. And once they're in school, things like lunches, textbooks, even healthcare, it's all free. And what's really crucial is that every single school has its own psychologist and support staff to make sure no kid ever falls through the cracks. It's the whole package. So you take that amazing investment in people, and then you supercharge it with a technological revolution. See, Estonia didn't just update its old clunky Soviet-era systems. Nope, they threw them out and built an entirely new digital-first society from the ground up. So what does that actually mean for everyday life? Well, just imagine filing your taxes. For most of us, it's a headache, right? In Estonia, it's a 3-minute job online. That simple example tells you everything you need to know about how deeply technology is woven into making life more efficient. And believe me, it goes way beyond just taxes. They were pioneers in secure digital signatures. They were the very first country in the world to hold legally binding general elections online. They've digitized pretty much everything, health records, you name it. They even have this thing called e-residency, which lets entrepreneurs from anywhere on the planet set up and run a company in the EU completely online. It's just on another level. And the reason all of this works so incredibly well is because basically everyone is on board. With about 90% of Estonians using the internet, this digital infrastructure isn't just some option, it's the central nervous system of the country. It's part of everyday life for almost everyone. All right, so for the final ingredient in their success formula, this one's a little less flashy than all the cool digital stuff, but trust me, it is just as important. We're talking about a culture of being really, really smart and responsible with money. Estonia has this long-standing reputation for what experts call prudent fiscal policy. So what's that? Well, in simple terms, it just means the government is extremely careful about how it spends money, and it's basically allergic to taking on a lot of debt. They just don't do it. And you can see the results right here. Just look at that. Their government debt is forecast to be just over 23% of their economy. That's less than half of the official EU limit, and it's tiny compared to their peers. This gives them a kind of stability and flexibility that, honestly, most other countries can only dream of. So we've looked at the economic shock therapy, that amazing investment in people, the digital revolution, and their super smart financial management. Let's pull it all together. What exactly is Estonia's winning formula? It really boils down to these four interconnected pillars working together. First, having the courage to make bold, even painful changes right at the very beginning. Second, a deep, fundamental belief in investing in every single citizen through education. Third, the incredible vision to build a truly digital nation. And finally, number four, the discipline to always live within their means. It's that combination that's so powerful. Which, of course, brings us to the big question for you. Was Estonia's success just a unique moment in history, something that happened because of the specific circumstances after the Soviet Union fell? Or is this a model that other countries could and maybe even should try to copy? We would love to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hey, thanks so much for checking out this explainer. If you found it interesting, do us a favor and hit that like button. And maybe consider subscribing for more deep dives into the stories that are shaping our world. We'll see you in the next one.
Because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because